How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. I'm your host, Frenzy, and today we're actually going to be going over the Rate My Stitch event, and specifically we're going to be talking about as to how to do it, what can you get from it, and just my personal, comments about what I think should be improved about the event itself. So, for those who might be wondering, how exactly do you get into the event? Well, it's as easy as being able to submit your stitch here. It's going to be, it's going to be scanning what you have currently on. You are given the option to have it a part of the event. It's basically done by default. So if you don't want to be considered part of the event, because maybe it doesn't look like a def stitch for this instance, just toggle it off. You can also do the same thing for the pet, either have it on or have it off. Pick a specific emo and pick a specific teleport. It's that simple. To rate a stitch, all you have to do is go to rate an outfit. You can actually select between death, which is the events version, or the overall outfits. Me personally, I prefer rating the overall outfits, but you are required to do the death event as well in order to get yourself points. In total, you need to do up to 10 ratings of the event along with 5 ratings of the overall. So it's as easy as that. You can give a rating from like 1 to 10 depending how much you love the stitch. You can also see as to what they're rocking, and it will give you information as to how to obtain them. So it's actually really cool. Personally, I think it's really dope. The event definitely makes it feel more complete overall. But for those who also might be wondering as to what stitches did I enter for these, I got a 7 and a 6 star. Well, for the 7 star, which is the overall, I have this stitch right here, inspired by the Witch Doctor look of my personal Witch Doctor. Not necessarily the exact same copy, but it's a little bit similar in the sense of like having that classy vibe, but still keeping that Witch Doctor essence. My death version is this one right here. For those who have seen the last video, then you probably already know what it is. But this was like my attempt to make like, death from Puss in Boots like stitch. Didn't really go 100% because obviously there are some limitations within stitching in Wizard101, but it still turned out to be pretty amazing looking stitch that happened to get Judge's Choice. I'm doing it on 10 characters because I do want the specific awards that comes from the event. The rewards are as follows. You get yourself the wand, the hat, and the robe, which we'll be looking at in just a second, that are specific to the event that you can craft. You're given the reagents that are specific to the event to craft, and the part that people seem to comment the most on is the stitch token. For those who are wondering, yes, it does only give you 1 stitch token, which basically what it does is that you redeem it with LOEs and you can get 1 free stitch, which means 1 specific item can be stitched for free, saving you up to 100 crowns. Now, personally, wished it was just free, but something is better than nothing. If we take a look at the crafting though, this is basically what the gear looks like. Obviously school specific, regular, and then the max version. Then you have the robe here. You got like the boots right here, and also you have the one that I was most looking forward to is the wand here. So we have the triumphant needle set, which is the one thing that I really want to go for. It looks absolutely amazing. It looks even better on the wizard once you actually get it equipped. But for those who might be wondering, in order to craft this, you will probably need to have up to 3 different elemental needle and shields, obviously the respective school ones as well. You're also going to be needing the spirit version, 3 of them with the respective schools. And finally, you're going to be needing the harmonious in order to craft the poised. Poised into harmonious to get the respective balance version. Once you get all 7 of them, you're able to craft yourself the triumphant. So to my knowledge, and I did just some calculations through Excel, so it may not be 100% accurate because it would have been better if I just did it in pen and paper, but I was kind of lazy, so I let the computer do it. You will need to do up to 5 different characters. To my knowledge, I believe 5 different characters in order for yourself to be able to craft this beautiful wand. But obviously, if you have more characters, you might as well go a little bit extra, try to get some extra ones to spare, or maybe for some other things. Let's say, for example, you want to get the music scroll, which honestly, I do think the music for this is really nice. You can also get yourself the wood skeleton key, which I'm not sure why people would want that, but okay. But the thing that people are most looking forward to is likely being able to get the Stitch token. You also have like the Taylor Chalk and, you know, some transmutes basically. And the emotes, which there are very plenty of, even some that I might be myself interested in, along with the red carpet teleporter, with some more stuff likely coming soon in the future. So overall, I think this event's awesome. Obviously, not everything is of sunshine and rainbows, and that also includes the Rate My Stitch event itself. There are some things that I think needs to be improved in order to make it a very solid event. So let's talk about the first thing. The first thing we want to talk about is the event points. Now, to obtain the points I mentioned before, rate the Stitch every day, or get the Judge's Choice and basically complete more than half of it, and you can do a lot less ratings per day to complete the event overall. Now, yes, are you supposed to do it on multiple characters? Not really, but it's nice because obviously you have the Stitch token. Keep in mind, it's only for one Stitch, which is one item. So obviously, you know, you want to get multiple of them. So it makes sense in that standpoint, you want to do it on multiple characters. Same thing for the reagents, because keep in mind, all those emotes, all those, you know, potential crafted gear that you can possibly obtain will be obtained through that event, through these reagents specifically to the event. I don't really mind about the Judge's Choice. I think that it's okay to have it as an option, but in my opinion, it shouldn't be the determining factor in obtaining what you need and what you want at a reasonable rate. The reason why is because the Judge's Choice is pretty vague. No, you do not know how to get Judge's Choice. I'm sorry, but you don't. Hasn't been confirmed by a dev. And Judge's Choice could be through all speculation. Some people think 1 10-star. Some people think multiple 10-star ratings. Some people think that a dev goes into the system, not the system, but actually rates Stitches themselves, and they're basically the judges. So we don't know how it works. There's a benefit to it. The benefit is the potential chance of not having it to where it kind of defeats the purpose of Rate My Stitch. Because if everybody knew what it was, let's say for example, it's as simple as, okay, give 10-star rating. Then everyone gets 10-star ratings, which honestly wouldn't be a bad thing in a sense, because everyone gets the Judge's Choice, I guess, but it kind of defeats the purpose of Rate My Stitch. So there's a benefit to it, but because it's so vague, then it shouldn't be the determining factor. You could still keep it. I would say maybe lower it down to like 25 or 20 points, because we should be able to add more options to obtain points. For example, let's say crafting per day could be a method of obtaining points. Let's say instead of that, let's make it just straight up the rating part. You know, make it to where, let's say for example, I put an overall Stitch. It gets a rating of like 2 10-stars. The requirement is once per event, obtain 20 rating. Boom, I'm done. Easy 20 points. Same thing for the event. Let's say I didn't do so good with the event. I got like maximum 4 5-star ratings. Boom, I'm basically done with that part. Easy 40-star, basically gets me really close to here. If I get Judge's Choice, basically gets me close, if not to here. Actually gets me just close to here. And then I don't have to do as much ratings of overall an event. But obviously, because these are just event points, it doesn't mean you have to stop there. Because to do the Rate My Stitch is very easy. You don't have to do it on every single character to get the stuff you need. But let's say on one character, you just want to, you know, rate Stitches. You know, get those free points for the Scroll of Fortune. But also, you know, just enjoy yourself of being able to rate Stitches and get credit for it. That's awesome. The second thing I would like to see is let's switch up the overall and the event Stitch rating. I think there should be more prioritization of the overall Stitch rating to 10 and lower the event Stitch rating to 5. And let me tell you why. Event Stitch rating affects the leaderboards. That's one of the reasons. So as you can see, leaderboards has its good and bad days. There is one in particular that probably still is here that I think is kind of BS that's in the leaderboards. Not these. Specifically, where is it? They've probably been bumped down quite a bit. Yeah, this one. This is literally just from the Scroll of Fortune. I don't think this deserves to be on the leaderboards, if you ask me personally. And I'm pretty sure one of the reasons why that might be the case is, you know, there is an issue with the system itself. I believe if you happen to get like low ratings in, you know, your stitches, that it doesn't get recommended anymore, which kind of sucks because it's kind of unfair. It could still lead to some issues of review bombing. Now, I'm not saying that person review bombed, by the way. I'm not accusing them of that, but there does come that potential issue, and you want to make it kind of fair for everyone to have a chance to get themselves in the leaderboards. Because there's probably a handful of stitches out there that are super awesome, but they potentially probably got like maybe 1 or 2 1-star ratings for like no reason, that it kind of just screwed them over, which kind of sucks. You know, it shouldn't be like that in my opinion. So I personally think like if you were to switch these up, then you should have a way better look of the leaderboards, as you know, it is better than what it is currently in my opinion. But also you also need to take a look at the system. Like KingsIsle needs to like take a look at the system that they have and try to make it as fair as possible to give people an equal shot to potentially go to leaderboards. Second reason is because the event stitch kind of sucks, let's be honest. I did a Twitter poll asking, hey, what you guys think about the event stitch stuff? And a lot of you guys seem to be pretty mixed about it. Like, obviously, people love Rate My Stitch, but people think there should definitely be improvements. And when it comes to the event, it's kind of boring. Because then you get stitches kind of like similar to this one, but let's say instead of like, you know, having 2 different sets, they just decided, hey, let's just make everything the same set. Let's have like Haro set number 269, or Deathmire set number 369, or the Dark Wraith set number 500. And I can kind of get why you see so many of them often. It's because the event theme is boring. It's basic, it's lazy if you ask me. Because think about it. Death stitches. What do you think when someone mentions to you a death stitch? It's different for everyone. To me, it's something scary, spooky, you know, maybe it happens to have, you know, darker toned colors. Maybe it includes black. For a lot of people, it might be something as simple as, oh, it's gotta have black in it, and it's a death stitch. So like, it's very difficult to find some pretty, you know, unique stuff, because it's already like very, even though it's vague, it's already restrictive as to what you can come up with to make a really good looking death stitch. So I kind of get it. Because for a lot of people, it's like, you ever heard that term? Oh, you look like this school. You're this school, but you look like that school. It's because a lot of people usually try to dumb it down and keep it as simple as possible to make it to the point where a school theme is based on the color. Like, for example, if it's death, you have to wear black. You have to wear darker tone colors. If it's myth, you have to wear royal blue. You have to wear yellow. If it's life, you have to wear green. If you don't have those things, you're not that school. You're some other school. You're like a wannabe fire wizard or something. So, again, it's very limited. And also, you know, school themes, in my opinion, are lazy. I do personally think that, you know, school themes and just like event themes in general will get to the point where it's kind of hard to be creative in it. But I do personally think that KingsIsle can come up with like better event themes, in my opinion. You know, you can have something like cosplay theme. You know, cosplay as your favorite character. It could be like Goku, for example. I saw a Goku stitch, by the way. I wish that was on leaderboards. That was fire. But it could be like, you know, an anime character. It could be a video game character from a different game. It could be like a school professor. Obviously, those are still prone to have like a lot of like, you know, copies of everything, but it still brings more creativity than a school theme, if you ask me. And finally, the last thing I want to point out is I would like the option to skip animations. There are some emotes that it takes a super long time to like, you know, get through. And it kind of sucks because like I want to see the bread and butter of a stitch. And I can't do that if I have to wait for an emote that takes like 10 billion years in order for it to finish. So me personally, I would like an option to skip the animation, and I will also like an option to replay the animation if I desire to do so. That way I can see the bread and butter of the stitch, and I can see their process that goes to everything, including the animations. And that's pretty much it for what I have for today's video. I hope that you guys did enjoy today's video. Hopefully that KingsIsle takes some of these critiques and, you know, tries to improve on the Rate My Stitch event, and also its system as well. That way we can have a really solid event overall. But only time will tell. If you did like this video, and if you think that I forgot to mention something, make sure to leave a like and leave down a comment on something I may have missed. Let's have a discussion. But other than that, if you're interested for more Wizard101 videos and other videos alike, make sure to hit the subscribe button, the bell button to stay notified. Everything of that sort helps out the channel immensely. And as always, remember to stay frenzy. Peace.